Okay, so a few years ago, I looked around my church and realized we had a ton of new visitors coming in, but we really didn't have a great way to kind of assimilate them into the church. So what we started doing is we actually created a welcome sequence inside of our email provider, and we started sending them automated emails, and it completely changed the game and helped our assimilation process, and we started getting more people joining the church in less time. So in this video, I'm going to be walking you through what that looks like, and we're going to be specifically answering the question, should churches have an email list? Coming up. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And if you're finding this channel for the very first time, we specialize in helping churches to be able to reach more people for Jesus using social media, technology, and digital ministry. So the result of having a good welcome sequence or an onboarding sequence is that you're going to have more engaged members, and you're going to have people who assimilate into your church and actually join the church in less time. So let's dive in and walk through some of those things that you could put inside of your custom welcome sequence. Okay, so while the best approach to onboarding or welcome sequence is going to differ church to church based on your programs and what your assimilation map looks like, here are a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one is to deliver immediate value, right? So don't talk about the church, right? Don't talk about you, talk about them. And the way that you do this inside of an email, right? The very first email that somebody gets from your church is going to determine whether they continue to open your emails down the road. So if you have something where you're talking to like, hey, we just wanted to give you a little bit of background on the church. Here's the deal. Actually, nobody cares, right? They don't care that your dog died. They care that their dog died. They don't want to know about you. They want to talk about them. So the best way to actually engage them is by talking about their life and talking about some of the value that you can provide, right? The way that you might do this is instead of talking about like your values, right? It's like, hey, we help people, know God, find freedom, discover purpose. So you might say something like, we believe a life on fire for Jesus is one of the most powerful forces in the earth. And so one of the things that we believe is in helping you find your purpose, right? Figuring out exactly why you are here, some of the specific gifts that you have, some of the talents and abilities, and how you can uniquely show up in the world and help more people. So what we've done is we've actually created a Discover Your Purpose quiz that you can take, and we've actually linked it up down below. Right now, this is a really cool way that you're providing value, right? You're explaining why you want to talk about Discover Your Purpose, and this might be one of the things that you help people with, but you're talking about why it actually matters to them, and then you're giving them a call to action where you're linking out to a Discover Your Purpose quiz. And this could also be a personality test, or it could be a spiritual gifts test, right? But this is a great way to provide value the very first email, and then it's going to ensure that they continue to open your emails. So remember, don't talk about you, talk about them. Make sure that you deliver immediate value. All right, next up, you want to make sure to invite them into the mission, right? So you could do this in either your second or third email, but now that you have somebody, they're opening your emails, you provided value in the first one, now you want to invite them to become a part of the mission. And again, you don't want to just talk about you, but you want to talk about the mission and your church's specific vision, and then you want to invite them in to be a part of it, right? Because every single person wants to be a part of something bigger than themselves. So you want to talk about the mission and invite them in to be a part of it. All right, number three, you want to invite them into your community. So you might do this by inviting them to join a small group, or to come out to your next steps or growth track, or you might invite them to volunteer in one of your ministries. But you want to integrate that member into community by asking them to take a next step. Okay, and number four, it's a really good idea to encourage content consumption, right? So maybe you want to send them to some specific sermons or some specific sermon series that you've preached over the years, or maybe even it's been recently, right? So maybe you want to say, hey, if you're trying to work on your marriage and you want to just have the best marriage that you can possibly be, right? Whether you're on the verge of divorce or whether you have a great marriage that you want to take to the next level, I want to recommend our recent marriage series, Happily Never After. Right? Then you can link out to that sermon series. You might say, hey, if you're trying to figure out why you're here in the world and you're trying to kind of go deeper on figuring out your purpose and figuring out your unique giftings and exactly how you can do that, then I recommend checking out our recent sermon, How to Discover Your Purpose. Or maybe you have like a foundation series or something that kind of breaks down the basics of being a Christian and some biblical and theological principles, and you want to send people there as they kind of get started knowing God. But it's important to encourage content consumption and to give them a couple of options and send them to some specific messages or sermon series. And next up, it's always a great idea to reward desired behavior. So if you want people to continue opening your emails, or if you want them to continue taking next steps, right? Or you want them to continue to assimilate into your church, then the best way to do that is to reward them. So maybe you want to reward them for showing up for the very first time by having pizza with the pastor, right? Or coming out to a meet the pastor on like a Thursday night where you have desserts or some types of food and childcare, right? And it's just kind of a great kind of meet and greet. You also might want to give them a free t-shirt whenever they join a small group or a volunteer team, or maybe you just want to send a personal selfie video thanking them for taking a next step from you as the pastor after they visited for the first time, second time, or maybe after they join a volunteer ministry. Basically, what you want to do is you want to make sure to reward them every time they're taking the desired behavior, meaning they're taking a next step along your assimilation map. You want to continue to reward their behavior every single time, and this is going to get them to continue to want to take the next step and to be seen, heard, and valued. All right, so before I get to my last couple of points, I want to hear from you. All right, have you guys tried anything like this in your church? Have you tried creating an email list or an onboarding sequence or a welcome sequence? All right, if you have, I want to know, put it in the comments below. And if there's something that I left out of this video, please let me know in the comments because I want to hear. Okay, so as we've been going through some of the ideas for what you can do to create an onboarding sequence, I think it's pretty obvious that having an email list is a really, really important asset for a church, right? But here's the reason why. As you continue to build an online presence on your website, or maybe on YouTube or Vimeo or your podcast or Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever it is, these are all rented real estate, right? Someone else actually owns the platform. So for whatever reason, Mark Zuckerberg could come in one day and could just shut down your Facebook page, even if you didn't do anything wrong, right? Sometimes that kind of stuff happens. They make a mistake, they shut it down, and you may or may not be able to get it back. I've seen this happen on iTunes with podcasts. I've seen it happen on YouTube channels, right? So all of these different places are rented real estate, and it's really important for you to continue to build these, but also know that at any point they could go away. And what would happen if all of a sudden one day your website got shut down, your YouTube got shut down, your podcast got shut down, and your Facebook and Instagram, right? Boom, all of it completely disappeared, right? Well, if you had an email list, that's something that you own that you can always rebuild your platforms with and you can continue to reach people with. So it's really important to create a contact list. Specifically, I like collecting emails and phone numbers. This way you have the option of emailing them, of texting them, or making personal phone calls whenever you need. And the best part about having an email list like this is that you can periodically go in and actually download this email list, right? So now you can actually export it as like a CSV file or an Excel file, but now you actually have your email list and you have all of those names, numbers, and emails saved in a database. This way, no matter what happens, you can never get completely shut down and you continue to have that contact list forever. It's really, really smart to continue to build your email list. And again, specifically, we want names, emails, and phone numbers. All right, so here are 5 different ways that you can use that email list as you continue to build that. All right, number 1 is a welcome email. Now, we already kind of talked about what to do inside of this welcome email, but this is the first step. As you start building your email list, or if you already have one right now that you're going to continue building, you simply want to set up an automated welcome email so that as soon as you add people to that list, whether it's manually or whether it happens online, it immediately kicks off that welcome list. And again, you want to focus on them and not you. Number 2, it's a great idea to create some type of getting started guide, right? Now, this might be kind of an introduction to the church or how to get assimilated or what your assimilation roadmap looks like. Maybe you're introducing them to your small groups ministry or some of the volunteer opportunities, right? Or you're just talking about some of the things that the church believes in. But kind of a quick start guide or a getting started guide is something that most churches overlook, but it's really, really important. And it's a great way to just kind of build that into your email list through autoresponders. All right, number 3 is a walkthrough video. Now, I like this because you can actually create like a plan your visit walkthrough video that's just kind of showing people where to park, starts in the parking lot, goes through the front doors, and then walks them through your church. And or you could create a walkthrough video for people that are maybe new to the church, right? Maybe they can watch it before they show up for the very first time, or maybe they've been once or twice, but they want to know a little bit more about your building, especially if you have a larger building, and just kind of do a walkthrough. Now, here's kind of a cool strategy, right? People love behind the scenes content. So in your walkthrough video, don't just take them through your lobby and your hallways in the sanctuary. That's the part that they always get a chance to see. But take them backstage, right? If you have a green room where you hang out before your sermons, or if maybe there is a room where all of the nursing mothers go to, right? Obviously make sure there's no nursing mothers in there when you shoot the video, but show those people around, show them the church offices. Man, if you have like a meeting room where you and your volunteers or your staff, you guys meet, just show them all those things. People love behind the scenes. So make sure to show people different things like where the bathrooms are, where the lobby is, where the info center is, that kind of stuff. But also show them the behind the scenes stuff because people love that and you'll get a lot more people watching your video. All right, number 4 is an email sequence. Again, we talked a little bit about this, but what you want to do is you just want to gradually continue to build onto your email sequence, right? So when you first start off, this might just be the first couple of days after they join, right? Or it might be the first couple of weeks. But what you want to do is eventually have this so that they're getting basically 1 email a week, and you could stretch this out for as long as you actually have the discipline to sit down and write them. A great thing to do would be to literally sit down and write this out for the first 60 or 90 days, or if you could be disciplined enough to do it, write it out for 6 months or 12 months, right? Imagine the power of getting an email every single week from the church, again, focusing on them, not you, but just talking about how they can find their purpose, how they can find freedom. Maybe you're breaking down just some different theological principles in an easy to understand way, right? But just making sure you provide value in every single one of those. And the longer that sequence is, the more effective it's going to be, the more engaged your members are going to be, and the quicker you're going to assimilate people into your church. And finally, number 5 is text messaging, right? So as you're continuing to build that contact list, not only your email list, but you're also collecting phone numbers, you can use something like Text in Church in order to be able to facilitate this whole thing. So I'm actually a huge fan of Text in Church. In fact, one of the cool things is Text in Church will actually allow you to set up this entire welcome sequence that we're talking about. They even have some templates of, follow-up systems and onboarding sequences and things like that actually already built in. And you can also use it for plan your visit, for kids pre-registration, for a follow-up system. It does everything, right? So literally you can create it. It's all completely automated. It'll do email and text messaging automatically for you. And it'll even alert you and notify you whenever it's time to send a personal phone call to someone. Because maybe you want to do that, every 60 to 90 days just to make sure you're following up with all of your new visitors. Very, very cool personal touch. You can do all of it through Text in Church. I personally think it's one of the single best platforms on the entire planet. Okay, I don't work for Text in Church. They're not paying me to tell you that. I'm just a huge fan, right? So you can check out Text in Church, and if you click on the link in the description below, you can actually get 90 days of Text in Church absolutely free, so you can try it out. Okay, so if you like this video, we are having conversations like this all the time inside of the Church Marketers Facebook group. So simply go to Facebook and type in Church Marketers, or you can click on the link in the description below and make sure to join the Church Marketers group. You're gonna find a lot of value and a lot more conversations just like this.